Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. The case of Heidi and a betrayal of a friend. Now Megan has known Heidi since she was 11 years old, and they met at a camp, and so she really trusted her friend, and she called her bestie, her best friend, one of her best friends. But if you look at the picture for some years back of this Megan, and you look at her today, those eyes and the state of her hair, her thrumpiness, she's gained weight, she's thrumpy. She looks like a changed woman, and she's lost the sunshine out of her. Her eyes are dead. When you smile with your eyes. In those pictures from back when, she smiled with her eyes. But if you look into her eyes now, they are dead. They are dead. It's a difference. It's a difference. And I probably feel that this woman, like I said, has some mental issues. She's very depressed. She's probably lost children, had miscarriages, can't seem to stay pregnant or get pregnant. So her best friend has one older child, and now she was pregnant again, and she's been there right from the beginning. She stood by her side through every step of the way, and even said she was pregnant too. So they were pregnant together, besties together. She was in a delivery room, and nobody was there for her delivery. Even though she's had a fake pregnancy, but people didn't know this at the beginning, but until now. But who went to her birth? Which hospital did she go to? Was there any photos? No friends. In fact, no friends had seen the baby. They had heard the baby, but nobody has seen the baby. Nobody came to visit her. Now, who would want to have a baby all alone in secrecy, or just all alone? It would be her first baby. She's excited. She'd have the family there, right? But none of her friends must have not thought nothing of it. I don't know, unless they did. Unless they did and was speaking to the detectives, because you're supposed to have some good friends. Now this woman, Megan Humphreys, or whatever her name is, goes by different aliases. She's been in trouble for theft, for fraud, for tickets, tickets, nothing big, but just tickets. And her lawyer got her off, or, not enough. Even though they had some proof of what she did with the theft, the case was dismissed. Lack of evidence, I guess, and so forth and so forth. And this is why she doesn't have a criminal record. But that happened, not so long ago. So was this woman starting to have a breakdown of sorts? She's beginning to show signs of mental illness. she's gaining weight. And, depression, you can gain weight, or stress, you can lose weight. I don't know if any of her other friends recognized what was happening to her, but I don't know if Heidi see any change in her. But you know what? This is what's happening, guys. We can't seem to believe people when they're even telling the truth. Because with what's going on, these type of people befriend you. Like I did a video on liars. They befriend you, and they know, like I said, they are great readers. They can read people, and they know just what to say, just what to do. And even though you've had a friend for quite a bit of your life, 20 years or so, it doesn't mean they can snap on a dime. They can snap. They can have breakdowns, mental breakdowns. They can get sick themselves. Some people can't fall pregnant. They get jealous. They are threatened by you. And they think in their head that you think you're better than me? You think you're better than me? Whatever else they're thinking. They become, they start having hate for you. And best friends kill best friends. They've done it time after time. Friendship don't mean nothing these days. It doesn't mean nothing these days. Not saying that people do have friends, but with what's going on in today's world, it's like you can't trust nobody. You've got to be looking over your shoulder. You've got to, it seems like you've got to analyze people and analyze your friends and pay attention to changes. Pay attention to their mannerisms, the way they dress. If they're, not doing their hair and suddenly it gets worse and worse. They're not doing their makeup like they used to. They're not dressing well like they used to. The signs, it could be subtle, and and then all of a sudden they just don't care. There's something going on. Now, obviously her friend was waiting for the moment, waiting for the chance to kidnap them both. But she did it in broad daylight. She did it early in the morning. There's lots of people around. I don't know quite how she did it yet, but she got her to her house, which is 150 or so miles away. She got her there. How did she get her there? Now, Heidi wouldn't have, well, we don't know how Heidi even got into her car. So, did she have a gun? Did she get a hold of her baby with a knife and say, "You better come with me"? Or, you know what I mean. She got hold of her baby and said, "I will kill her or I'll slit her throat," or something like that, to get Heidi to get in her car or to get in the trunk of her car, or however she got it, because I don't know if Heidi ever got home. Unless there's some footage, some cameras of her driving her car to her apartment. We don't know if she ever got home. Now, the call came in from Shane, which he said 8, quarter after 8, anywhere between that time, because he seemed to be confused on the times, but he was also stressed. You could see that. And we didn't know if he's telling the truth or not, because we've seen so many people act the same way. Now, since this has happened, it seems like maybe the FBI, the police, sort of made him get on and do these interviews, because they already had an idea what was going on. Just saying, could be an option there in the light of things. But he's not a suspect, but he's probably still being investigated, because they haven't absolutely cleared him 100%. So he calls Heidi up and says blah blah blah, and she tells him she had been to the book fair and bought 3 books for her son, and she can't wait to read them to him, and she spent $25. But he kept on about the $25 like it was a big thing, but I don't know. But that was before all this went down. And then he says, well, I gotta go because I gotta get out of here. Like he's gotta hit the road, he's gotta hit the road. And so I don't know where he was calling from. His mobile phone will tell that, and the detectives probably already know where he was at that particular time and where Heidi was at that particular time. Because, you know, they do. They know it already. They probably knew that in the first day. And then the call comes in from Magen. And then it's 23 minutes after, so just as she hung up the phone, she gets a message or a call, and obviously Megan's in town. Megan's in Austin, Texas. She has driven 150 odd miles, and she is lurking. Evil is lurking. And Heidi's not going to live too much longer. And her car is seen. Her car is seen. Don't know where, but her car is seen. And I don't know if it was parked or it's driving, but it's definitely seen by the FBI. I've seen her car on videos, location. And they were probably looking into, I don't know if they were looking into Megan's phone, but they sure seen her car. So they were already investigating her. They had caught her up. And apparently Megan said to Tim Miller that they only asked, a certain question, and she didn't volunteer nothing. Well, she is not going to volunteer. She's just going to answer what they asked her, because Tim Miller said so. Tim Miller had caught her up that morning. See, Tim Miller was already on the case, Equus Search. He was already on the case, and he had caught her the very morning that she gone missing. But I'm not sure about the very morning that she went missing, because Shane didn't know she was missing. So really, I don't know when, actually, I'm confused now, but when he said that he called her up that morning, but I'm like, it couldn't have been that morning. But anyway, he spoke to her some morning, and maybe the next morning, maybe he misspoke. But anyway, she told him that, she told Tim Miller that the police had called, and she only said whatever. And he says, Megan, don't you think it's very important? Didn't you tell the police this? And she goes, no, I didn't. He says, don't you think you should call them up and tell them? And you know, she told Tim Miller that she would be talking to everybody, finding out information. So that's exactly what she was doing. You know, when they say they stay close to the case and they make sure they call people and they know exactly what's going on, because they want to know how close they're getting. Are they coming after her? But she's telling Tim Miller all about Shane. See, she's putting the blame on Shane about their relationship and about this and about that. And she's telling them all about Shane and making him look bad as well. So seems like all of us, a lot of us, were blaming him. Well, he had something to do with it, because the spouse, the partner, the person close to you is mostly the first suspect in anything, especially like this. But he also wasn't making himself look good neither. He was making himself look pretty guilty. But she also was happy about that, because she knew, and she's probably watching YouTube and watching the news very closely, see what people are saying. And nobody was putting two and two together with her friend Megan. Well, little did you know, somebody was. Somebody was investigating her. And still don't know how Heidi's car got back to the complex where she lives. Now that's probably going to come out soon, later on. I don't know, because the investigation is still active and ongoing, that the FBI and the police are not going to give away and let too much information get out, because there's going to be court hearings and charges and maybe a trial later on down the line. But we do know one thing, that Heidi was strangled, and she was strangled with something. And I don't know when she did this, but she was strangled. So how did she get Heidi into her car? She had to have done something for Heidi to get in the car. She either had a gun or she was threatening her baby with a knife. Something serious had to have happened. But whatever road she was on, wherever she was, there has to be surveillance. Somebody out there see this car, may have seen them talking, definitely see something, and they need to call the police up, the Houston Police Department, the FBI, whoever, and call somebody and tell them whatever little they know. It doesn't matter. Little information mounts up and the puzzle comes together. Now that's a busy road. Around there is a lot of people coming and going. The school buses, the kids are getting dropped off to school. People are going to work. People's got cameras in their car. Maybe you should take a look at your car video and see if you've got anything on your camera. It wasn't important then, but it could be very important now. And so forth. But Heidi's car was in the parking lot, as we all know. That's watching this case anyway, that's following it. And her friend said that her car seat was pushed all the way back. Now, Heidi's not all that tall. Well, I'll say about 5'3", whatever. She's a little under average height. But her friend Megan is a bit taller, a bit bigger, and taller. Did she get Heidi in the back of her trunk? And then I just don't know how the car got to the parking lot. But anyway, anybody know can put the comments down, but it's probably not going to be, the police aren't going to let us know all that. So, and now there's rumors that Heidi was a little bit this way, you know, like men and women, because they say, she looks butchy though, doesn't she? Now, that she may, what I'm saying is she may have been in love with Heidi. She liked Heidi a lot. Do you know what I mean? These besties become, one becomes attracted to you sometimes. Yes, they do. One could be bi, one could be straight, whatever. But some people like you more than you think. And this could have happened. Why her jealousy? She didn't like Shane. You know, I don't know how many times she tried to get him away from her. I don't know. She may have. You like the pregnancy, she was talking to Heidi about pregnancy, nipples, you know, all kinds of things, because it was something to talk about. It was something to talk about. But did they ever go baby shopping together? Now this Megan and her boyfriend, which is probably Megan that put it up there anyway, on a Target, the baby registry, and there was a lot of baby clothes bought for Megan that was paid for on the registry. And she put on there, you know, it's for Christopher Green and herself. Somebody said she was supposed to have been having a boy, but ended up having a girl. But I don't know who said that. She said she was having a boy because the baby clothes were neutral. She put, you know, the clothes she picked out were for neutral, so a boy or a girl. And, you know, baby diapers, it doesn't matter, you know, that kind of stuff. But so she was more gender neutral when it came to baby clothes. Now, apparently her boyfriend, which is in the picture here, really thought that she had given birth to a baby. Now, really? You didn't go to the birth. You were not at a birth. You did not get no call saying, I'm in labor. Friends, a mother, anybody was not even with her when she gave birth. Okay, normally, you hear the heartbeat and, all this and the other. What was going on through this pregnancy? He went to bed with her. What the hell? Stuff like that. And she's gaining weight because she's got bigger. And of course she's wearing frumpy clothes, But the thing is, she was pretending to be pregnant. So she must have been stuffing herself with something. And I heard like maybe a ball or some clothes. But she's got her best friend, Heidi. And Heidi was in a bikini. Her last stages of pregnancy. She was by a lake or wherever she was, and she was in a bikini. Now, didn't Heidi feel her belly? Or, because they're besties, they're pregnant together, they might compare sizes, like you do. Heidi obviously talked about Magen, and Megan's friends have met Heidi's friends have met Magen on 1 or 2 times. People that Heidi worked with, because she had also talked about Magen being pregnant, and that's her friend, and stuff like that. So who was the one that called 911? Well, this is what's happened. We thought it could have been Megan's mother called 911 or called social services, something, because they got involved and they called the police, because Christopher Green was the one that called CPS. To tell them something on his partner, Megan Humphrey, aka. And she's got other aliases. Just keep to Megan. And he called the CPS because Megan was mistreating the baby. She was mistreating the baby, guys. Now, this woman should never have children. We know that because her state of mind, especially after Heidi is in the back trunk of the car sitting outside. Well, this baby is steady on crying. She's got no bond with this baby, and this baby is crying because she is missing her mother. She doesn't have the heartbeat of somebody she knows next to her. So this baby is probably she doesn't know how to look after a baby, and she is getting frustrated, not just because of the baby, probably frustrated of what she's done, and she is in no fit state to take care of no baby. And he's the one that called CPS, and they're the ones that called the police, saying there is a baby alone, and what else they said. And that's why the police went there, because then the police had their suspicions. And I don't know what else he's told the police, but this is why he was being questioned and he is not being charged, because he actually thought it was his biological child, not that of Heidi. This case, it just gets worse, doesn't it, guys? It just gets so sadder as the days go on, as the information comes out. But I just think that this Magen did not like Shane. He didn't like how Heidi was being treated. And the DNA has not been done, well, has not come out yet, confirming that Shane is even the father. Just going by, she went with, not putting her down, but this is the case. She wasn't with him. She was with him. She got back with him, found out she was pregnant, but it sounds like she had been with somebody else within weeks or so, something like that. And she's almost sure that it's Shane's baby and not the other guy's. But that's not confirmed. I don't know if that's a rumor, but I don't think it's a rumor because it was told to her friends. So, but there was a possibility it might not be his. So he won't be getting that baby back anytime soon until CPS feels that whoever is taking care of this baby has to be mentally stable, have to provide a good home, stability, and all those kind of things before the CPS is going to let them go home with the biological family, or will have to stay in the care of the CPS in foster home until further notice, I guess. This poor little baby now is in the hands of a qualified foster mother, and she was put there in emergency care. I don't know if it's going to be long-term care, but they're not thinking long-term at the moment. They're just thinking day by day, a few weeks, that's it. They'd rather them go back to family, her mother, the grandparents, or the father, or his father. But right now, they will have to do DNA to even say that he is the father right now. It's just what they have to do. And they can't just give him to anybody, especially when there's rumors that he may not be. But they will do the DNA test. Well, they have to. And who knows, it might have already been done already, at the hospital. But anyway, so they're thinking that Heidi had made another phone call, called somebody or text somebody to another friend. But when I'm not sure what time she tried to call her back, but her phone was already off by then. That was sometime early in the morning. Her phone was already off. So this could not have happened very long after she dropped her son off and went to the book fair. It had to have been done early in the morning. Just don't know how she managed to get the car back. Did she make her drive the car, take her phone away, and take the baby and said, you make one false move. You make one false move, and make her drive the car back, or Magen drive her car back and have Heidi drive Megan's car? Megan's got the baby in the car seat in Heidi's car, and she tells Heidi, make one false move. And that's how they got the car back. And then she gets back in the car, takes the baby, and gets back into Megan's car. Megan gets back into her own car and makes Heidi drive her car all the way back to her house. I'm just trying to figure out how the car got back. If that's how it may have happened. So guys, there's just news reports. There's a video of Megan in the car driving into the police station, but that was it. She was a video them showing her in court, the traffic tickets, and there's a picture of her with her mug shot. And of course, you know guys, she's been charged with kidnapping and tampering with a corpse and stuff like that. Of course, those are the charges. It seems like a lot of people in Texas get charged with that right off the bat until they make their case, and then they charge them with more serious charges. But she could be sitting in Texas jail for quite a while, a year or so, unless she makes some kind of plea deal. I don't know if she's going to say anything because, well, right now she's in jail, so she probably is not going to say much. She's going to plead a mental illness. You know that, guys, don't you? She's going, but this was premeditated. And you, one time they said she put a sure it was her, she put an ad for a crib for sale. Well, she doesn't have a baby, so why would she have a crib? She was going to lure somebody else into this web. You know, there's been many people that have done that. Make out they're selling stuff on Craigslist or something, and they lure you into their house, and they take your baby, and they kill you. You really have to watch it these days. Never go anywhere by yourself. Never. You just can't do it these days. You just can't trust nobody. I don't care who it is. It's turned out you couldn't even trust your best friend. You couldn't trust your best friend. Because here's the case of a best friend. A betrayal of a friend. And you know, strangling somebody takes some strength. And you know, Heidi just had a baby but 2 weeks ago. You know, about 3 weeks now. But she still haven't got much strength to her because she's recovering from the birth. You know what I mean, women? You know how it feels when you've had a baby. It's not like you can get up and have a fight with somebody, is it? I know you can fight for your life and put up with the pain. But she must have got her from behind. And started strangling her. And she could have passed out before I know, and then she still strangled her. And she couldn't fight for her life because she had passed out. if you get that jugular and you press on it, and you know if she's looked up away to how to make somebody unconscious right away, if she could have done that and then strangled her, and she wouldn't have been able to fight back. And that could have well been the case. But anyway, but while she's doing this, it takes a lot of force and a lot of strength, and it takes minutes and minutes and minutes to strangle somebody till they're dead. And that's what she's done to her best friend. I don't think Heidi was her best friend. And I don't know how long she hasn't been her best friend. For somebody to plot, premeditate the murder of her friend and take her baby as her own. Now, God knows what that guy is thinking. He's probably told the police a lot about her behavior, her craziness. The cops know all about this woman. Or when she changed, she became a different woman at some point. They say, it's probably because either she's had miscarriages. She's had several miscarriages, or she just couldn't get pregnant, and her friend is getting pregnant all the time, So that's how that goes. And her other friend is speaking out, the one that worked at Crackle Barrel, has spoke out. She's met Magen before, once, I think. The company she works for said that, they would help out in any way possible. A fund, a Go Me fund, is made up from, Shane's father and everybody. They made one up for to get money for reward money and a cost of living, and stuff like that to help out any way it could. You gotta feel sorry for them all. It is a very sad situation. But if anything came out of this, that the baby is alive. But thank God somebody called CPS, because this baby was very much in danger of losing her life with this crazy woman, psycho. Well, she may have mental illness, but I'm sick of using an excuse of people doing stuff and it's mental illness. There's nobody speaks up these days. Nobody calls anybody, and nobody can do anything about it neither. If just say he did notice something and he called somebody up and said, hey, my girlfriend's, acting crazy. I think she's depressed. Well, tell her to come in. She don't come in. There's nothing nobody can do. So it's those kind of circumstances where you can't do nothing until somebody does something. Now, he did the right thing. He did the right thing. He had enough sense to realize something's not going right. Now, what does she do to the baby? What was she doing to mistreat this baby? Yelling at it? Did she slap it? Did she yell at it? Did she ignore it? Did she call it names? You know, all kinds of things. Did she throw it down? Well, he must have seen it. And, you know, I'm glad that he called. It shows that he's got a heart and that he was willing to speak up. Like I say, you see something, say something. And he did. And he did. And there's, God knows how her parents are feeling, because they said that's their only child. Thank God they had 2 beautiful grandchildren, but that was their only child. They got to be heartbroken. I bet that her mother, Tammy, was probably thinking, I wish I never left now. Wish I never left. She's probably going to have some guilt now, but it's not her fault, because she had to go home. And, you know, she helped her daughter out, but she has to go home. And, you know, like you do, you go home at some point. But I bet she's not feeling that way. I bet she's feeling, if only, you know, if only the ifs and the whys and the buts are coming out now. And her friend knew where she was going, because Heidi told her bestie that she was going to take her son to school the next day. Her friend knew. She had to have known, because she came down. But anyway, that's just my opinion on it all. I don't know about you guys, that's just my opinion on it all. And even if lots of people made statements and videos about him being on national TV, you know, the news, and acting like a guilty man, that's because, like I said, he was acting like a guilty man, just like a lot of other people act. And he was very uncomfortable. Yeah, and then, you know, of course, being high, you know, being high, and all those kind of things. Well, I'm glad he went on national TV. I'm glad he did the interviews. I'm glad, because it looked like he was the guilty one. And this Megan thought she was going to get away. And she may have got away if that person hadn't called CPS on her. She may be in that house, and this baby might not be alive today. So guys, leave your comments below, and let's have a little chat on the updates on this case and what's going on and what we're hearing. And don't forget to like my channel, sub, and press that notification bell so you can be notified when I put another video up. See you in the comments.
Megan Firamusa, you have 6 tickets from April 5th of 2018 for expired registration, no driver's license on demand, driving while license invalid, failure to report change of address or name, expired driver's license, and no car insurance. How do you plead to these 6 tickets? To your plea of no contest to expired registration, no driver's license on demand, driving while license invalid, failure to report change of address or name, and expired.
Harris County woman, you see her there in that maroon hoodie, went before a judge for a handful of traffic tickets early this afternoon, 6 of them that date back to April 2018. She pleaded no contest and was fined about $550. Look at her sitting in court. At points, her face is buried in her hands, her body hunched over in her lap. We all thought Firamuska was going to be read a trio of charges. These 3. A pair of kidnapping charges and a charge of tampering with a human corpse. This is all public information that we pulled from the Harris County Jail website. But that judge this afternoon did not bring up those charges, which come with a $600,000 bond. And while Austin police
was placed in CPS custody, and we were told by Cheryl Mercedes a little while ago, is in a foster home right now, because even though we have a father here, we have grandparents who are very involved in the family, CPS just through their process has to check anybody out where Margot would go, including immediate family, to make sure the home's okay, to make sure the people pass background checks. And if they're going to release that child out of state custody, they have to be sure that the child will be safe wherever it's going, even if it's an immediate family member. So for now, Margot is in a foster home, some family that has been checked out and is certified to take a baby, an infant. But we know CPS tries whenever possible to place children with immediate family members. I'm sure this case has gone to the top of the stack right before Christmas here as they try to make sure a family member can safely take her.
And I think one question we continue to hear from people out there is the motive, is why did this happen? You know, and I know we've gotten some information today, and we just heard law enforcement not really ready to name officially this person that's been charged, but we have heard from law enforcement sources a little bit more on that background. And Russ, in my conversation with the source this morning, they said this friend of Heidi Broussard was someone who actually went to baby appointments with Heidi Broussard in Austin.
And was there for the birth of the child.
Right. So this is somebody who had an intimate relationship with this mom. Obviously, you know, a friendship that did not just, you know, was not just developed overnight. This was a friendship, a trusted relationship.
Right.
And in the conversation with the source this morning, I was, you know, really, it kind of gave me pause. You know, I mean, those thinking about a woman going with another woman to an appointment, you know, before the birth of a baby. That's a significant, intimate setting. And, you know, he shared that just so we could kind of get an idea of kind of some of the details that investigators are now putting together.
Sure. I mean, as a new mom yourself, right, you're thinking probably, who would I take to those appointments with me if it's not my spouse or in her case, her boyfriend, right? It would be somebody trusted and close.
It's a close circle.
Sure.
Right.
And we're hearing from law enforcement sources who've told our affiliates in Austin that this woman was plotting this whole time to take this baby from Margot, even before Margot was born.
Right.
That this was all, you know, part of the plan.
And that's one thing we didn't hear from Austin police today.
Right.
They laid out this timeline, but they didn't say exactly, you know, at what point this friend took or coerced or however that happened.
Yeah, how do they even know each other, right, too?
Right.
One's in Austin, one's in the Houston area.
Right.
So, but yet they were close enough that one was going to, you know, prenatal appointments with the other, with the victim.
Even though they're in different cities.
Exactly.
Right.
So
yeah.
it's all very, you know, very strange there. And again, I didn't think we'd get all the answers today. This is, you have to keep in mind, this happened late last night and early in the morning that they found the body and the baby.
Right, we're still waiting on the autopsy, and you heard
Right.
Austin police stress that, you know, this investigation continues, more charges could come. There may be other people involved, they're not ready to say, but they're still interviewing a lot of people, and I thought it was interesting, they're still doing a call out for help. You know, you might see our coverage today and think, okay, you know, mom and baby have been found, story over, but Austin police say, hey, still call us. We need tips. We need information to continue to build this case. Something tells me all their questions are not answered.
Right. Well, and you heard the Detective Harries from Austin PD say during this press conference that investigators are still looking at multiple locations between Austin and Houston.
I heard that. That was interesting. It made me wonder where else besides, because we've been focused on this house. We know they had a search warrant to go in. We know they were there overnight. But where else might they be searching between Austin and Houston?
Right. Where did this murder take place? Did
We
it
don't
happen
know.
in Harris County? Did it happen in Austin and her body was just driven here at some point. What is the involvement of the man who lives in that home in Harris County, who owns the home and lived there with the woman under arrest?
Yeah.
Where is he? Is he not involved at all in this?
I did have a
Or-
chance to discuss that too with
Right.
law enforcement sources this morning, and they told me he so far was fully cooperating with the investigation. They, nobody would rule out charges, but he certainly hasn't been charged at this moment, at this hour. And I did find it interesting that he was cooperating, But what did he know? How long was he there at this house with Heidi, with baby Margot? We
If he
just
was
don't
there-
know.
if he-
They haven't answered those
if
questions.
he was there at all, exactly. I mean, you're right, when your girlfriend or the person you live with, I'll just put it there, I don't know the relationship, but when she shows up with an infant child and you're there are going to be some questions.
Reported to you. You can stay with us here on our streaming platforms on Facebook, KXAN.com, and the KXAN News app. We will be providing updates throughout the day as we get it because, again, there is so much information to go through at the moment. These are the details we're able to share right now. And then we are working to confirm additional details, and we'll obviously bring it to you as soon as we can. But please stay with us on our streaming platforms, and you can obviously find our reporting on KXAN.com and the KXAN News app. Before we wrap up our stream, I want to replay our reporter, Candy Rodriguez, her reporting on this particular issue because she is at this home, she is outside it, she is one of those crews that is sitting outside this house reporting on these details and the unfortunate conclusion of an investigation after Heidi Broussard's body was found by authorities. So let's listen to Candy once again. If you've been watching and you're seeing this again, we apologize for repeating this information, but we just want to be able to reiterate the details that we know so that you all have that. And let's listen to Candy again.
Candy Rodriguez here with KXAN. We have some new information for you in the Heidi Broussard and baby Margot Carey case. Austin police have arrested a woman who is listed as the owner of a car that is at the center of an investigation here at this Jersey Village area home in northwest Harris County, just outside of Houston. Magen Musca faces kidnapping and tampering with a human corpse charges. She's currently behind bars at the Harris County Jail. This is the same location where NBC News is reporting a body was found inside a car trunk. Tammy Broussard, the mother of Heidi Broussard, tells NBC News based on the information she got from police, she believes the body found here is her daughter, Heidi Broussard. We're waiting to hear from the Harris County Medical Examiner's Office to confirm the identity of the body. Tammy also tells NBC her granddaughter, baby Margot Carey, is safe. Cypher Fire Department officials confirmed they found a baby last night after responding to a call from CPS. She was taken to an area hospital for evaluation, and for now, we are waiting to hear from APD on the latest. They're expected to give an update later this afternoon, and of course, we will bring that to you both on air and online. For now, in Northwest Harris County, Candy Rodriguez, KXAN News.
Again, that is our reporter, Candy Rodriguez, reporting from outside that house in Jersey Village, Texas. She went overnight after authorities went there yesterday and found Heidi Broussard's body in the trunk of a car. NBC News is reporting that particular information after having a conversation with Heidi Broussard's mother. She also said that her granddaughter, 3-week-old Margot Carey, has been found safe inside that same house. Again, we are working to find out how they ended up there and the circumstances leading up to all of that and how they discovered and what led them to this particular house in Jersey Village, because that is in the northwest part of Houston, pretty far from Austin. So this investigation spans miles and details will keep coming in. We, of course, will be following that. And we want to reiterate that a suspect has been arrested. And here are the details on that. Again, if you're just joining us, we've been repeating this throughout the morning, providing this information as soon as we've gotten it in. Her name, the suspect in this particular investigation, her name is Magen Rose Firamusca. She was arrested by Austin police on 2 counts of kidnapping and 1 count of tampering with evidence involving a human corpse. The bond has been set at $600,000, and she currently is in the Harris County Jail. I've seen some comments on Facebook asking if we have a picture of this particular suspect. We do not. We, of course, are working to get that too and find out what her relationship might be to Heidi Broussard. Show you one more time. This is the house in Jersey Village, Texas, on Bojack Drive, which is kind of in the northwest part of Houston. This is where this investigation has now centered. Heidi Broussard's body was found in the trunk of a car, according to NBC News, located behind this house right here. And Heidi's daughter, Margot Carey, was found inside alive and is in good condition. That is the fortunate part we're able to report this morning. However, Heidi's family is undoubtedly upset and distressed and devastated by the news that she has been found now. And unfortunately, she is not alive. Again, we have Candy Rodriguez, who is reporting for our morning show in Jersey Village, Texas, working on these latest details from this house there in that community. We have Eugen Cho, who is working throughout the day to provide some more updates, and we'll have those obviously during our evening newscasts at 4:35 at 6. We also have reporter Steffi Lee. She is chasing down some leads here in the Austin area, and we are obviously waiting to hear from Austin police to find out when they might be doing an update on their investigation, as all of this has been unfolding overnight. We have not heard that information yet. Of course, we will bring that to you live on Facebook, KXAN.com, and the KXAN News app as soon as we find out information about when they're going to talk about this investigation. There is lots to go through since this stretches all the way to the Houston area. Heidi Broussard went missing here in Austin. She had dropped off her son at school at Cowan Elementary on December 12th. She was seen there, then went home. She was seen there as well, and then disappeared. And the investigation has somehow led police from Austin to this home in Jersey Village, Texas, which again is in the northwest part of Houston. So much to go through, so much to delve into and pursue and questions to ask. So we are continuing to follow those leads, working with police to find out more information. But unfortunately, we have that news to share that Heidi Broussard has been found dead in the Houston area. Her daughter, though, has been found alive. We are reaching out to her family, which is one of the more unfortunate tasks in this job, is reaching out to someone when something terrible has happened. But she had talked, the grandmother anyway, had talked to NBC News and said that law enforcement told her that the body in this vehicle was her daughter, Heidi Broussard. So we will pass along our condolences to the family and say that first and foremost. And then we will say we will keep working on this story and trying to provide as much information as we can about the investigation. Thank you all for joining us. This is, again, unfortunate that we have to share these details with you all. We will keep following those leads. Follow us on KXAN.com and the KXAN News app. But for now, we're going to end our live stream, and you can stay with our reporting there, and we will be back within the day with hopefully an update from Austin Police.